Hello again, everyone. Yair Spitz here from the field with some updates from the last day. Yesterday evening, the commander of the battalion basically called me and one of the other officers called us to sit down with and talk to him. And, it's just a few minutes here, a few minutes there where he doesn't have that much time. And he turned to the other officer. And this other officer, he's in charge of making sure that everyone has the physical equipment that's needed, especially as we prepare for possible cold weather and rain. So he sends to him. The guy's name is Dudi. And he says, Dudi, listen, you are in charge. You need to take charge of supplying the soldiers with all the things all the physical things that they need. Be in touch with this person and that person, bring them all the equipment and make sure everyone has everything and make lists of who got what. And he says, and he turns to me and he says, and you make sure that the soldiers have everything they need spiritually. He said, and I want to make sure, you need to make sure that you go and you meet with each one of the small units and individually, sit down with them, talk to them, strengthen them, talk to them, and this is not he's not, to my knowledge, is not an observant person. He says to me, and to speak to them about Am Yisrael, speak to them about history, speak to them about tradition. He says, it's very important, and I need to make sure that you're doing it. So that was, I hadn't heard that from him before. And the fact that he spoke to both of us at the same time, he, just demonstrates the degree to which he sees them as two sides of the exact same coin. And it's, even though that's something that I've been talking to all of you for a very long time about since the beginning of the past few weeks, to hear it so bluntly as something that he sees as an actual need. It's clear to him that just like the soldiers need warm clothes and hot food to the same degree, they also need someone talking to them and discussing with them and strengthening them with the understanding of Jewish history and Jewish destiny and tradition and religion was very surprising, and I was very happy to see that and to hear that. Something else that happened was that the brigade rabbi contacted me. I've been in touch with him. There are different things that we need to be coordinated about. So he contacted me this morning and said he wants to come for a visit to see where we are in the field, to see how we're laid out, just to meet face to face and discuss certain things. So he came for a visit. Now, just to understand, when they say the brigade rabbi, this is someone who is in Miluim also. He's a reservist. He works as he's 50, I think he said 54, 55 years old. He works as a full-time Judaic studies teacher in a religious high school in Ashdod. And in reserves, he's a brigade rabbi. Just like I'm a battalion rabbi, he's a brigade rabbi. So he has several battalions under him, and he's the one who gives me equipment. When I say equipment, that means to make sure that I have they have sidders, that I have chumashim, that I have other booklets with tehillim, or just different words of strengthening for soldiers that are written in language that's friendly for soldiers from any and all backgrounds. Also, he's the one I work with when, God forbid, there's the other part of my job that I have to do. So he came for visits. I took him around, showed him the area, introduced him to all the commanders, all the officers, introduced him to. We went kind of around between each one of the small units in our, camp. He said hello to everyone. He introduced himself. He gave. In most of them, where he felt it was relevant, he gave a short Dvar Torah about the Parsha. In one of them, it developed into a whole discussion. So that was just to be aware that, even though I keep on talking about my unit and my battalion, we're part of a much larger thing, and there are rabbis above me who go around, just like I'm a rabbi in this one battalion. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of other battalion rabbis, and above them are brigade rabbis and higher ups also. But they come to the field, they meet the soldiers, so that happened today as well. One of the things we had a chance to do is before he came, I told him, listen, if you can please bring with you Eruv kits. There are kits that the rabbinate of the Army Rabbinate has, in which so people can make in the field, can make Eruvin. So he said he doesn't actually have any in his warehouse. He says, but once he gets it, we'll walk around together and we'll see if it's possible to make an Eruv without one of these kits. So actually he came, and it was actually the first time that I actually had the chance to walk around our entire area where we are. And then we noticed that between the areas that have a fence and the area, there's a lot of small hills or small, I'm not sure exactly what to call them, small tell, just basically a tiny little hill of dirt that we had tractors come to put around us in order for us to be a little bit safer. So that actually it's possible to make an Eruv here with very little, not much is needed in order to make an Eruv here. So tomorrow morning, together with the soldier under my command, we're going to spend half an hour, however long it takes, to have an Eruv, and that's a very big deal. If you guys remember, I shared last week, I felt a little bit of a challenge of the degree to which I find myself doing things that I usually consider to be isurim and prohibitions on Shabbat. The fact that this Shabbat, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to have a kosher Eruv is a very big deal, not just for me and for the other religious soldiers, but the idea that we're able to supply an Eruv for all the soldiers who are here, and even just the regular things of carrying in and out of our tent and from one area of the camp to the other area of the field, that slowly, just like we're getting settled here as far as all the other things, all the technical things, the fact that we're slowly being able to build the infrastructure of the religious infrastructure as well, is something that's a very positive development. Another thing that one of the soldiers who I've never met before suddenly came up to me after the evening gathering, and he says to me, "Are you the rabbi?" I said yes, because some of the soldiers are a little further out, and for safety and security reasons, I don't have full access to them. And he says to me, heavy Russian accent, and he comes to me and says, "Are you the rabbi?" I said yes. He said, "My name is Gregory, and this coming Sunday night, my father, I have yurtzeit for my father, and I want to see if it's possible to arrange a minyan so I can say Kaddish." So I said, yeah. I said, I was very touched by this, of course. And I said, of course, we will make it happen to make sure that you have a minyan to say Kaddish. And the truth is, I'm optimistic that starting tomorrow on Shabbat, that we will hopefully be able to start having minyans at least for Mincha Maariv. Mornings are a lot more challenging because there's a lot more going on in the morning, and people need to go and do their individual missions. But that's definitely something we're aiming towards as part of slowly and gradually building the foundations of our camp here and all of its aspects. So that's something we're looking forward to as far as coming into the Shabbat and towards next week.